This is not a common car. The MazdaSpeed6, only made for 2 years, 2006, 2007. It has the same engine from that era of MazdaSpeed3. I always thought the Speed6 was cool. I mean, everything I knew about it, I was like, that sounds like a pretty fun car. Let's get in one.
It's kind of fun, and it's rare to just jump right in without ever having driven this. Now, Todd has driven this generation. I have not. This is my first time. I mean, you are quite honestly watching the first few seconds of me driving this car.
Rachel and Danny, the owners of this car, bought it used, had about 50,000 miles on it when they bought it. It has required some consistent maintenance, but it hasn't been a bad car for them. In fact, they've thoroughly enjoyed it. Their comment to us was, we didn't want another Subaru. They wanted all-wheel drive, they wanted some fun, so they went looking for something unique and they found this.
Mazdas have always been, generally speaking, fun to drive, and I can see where this car fits. It kind of feels like this is where Mazda engineers started to refine things and realize they could push things more and more and still find a balance between just sedan and something kind of hot. Stylistically speaking, you could say it's kind of plain Jane, but if you look for the right things, then you kind of know that this is something hotter.
I already liked the look of the Mazda 6 sedan from this era. This one's just been taken and made a little beefier. It just kind of went to the gym. Everything got a little thicker and denser on it. The interior is not grand, but I actually think it's aging pretty well.
The interior is it's pretty plain. Let's be honest. It's not that exciting.
I like a little more aggressive seats. These are definitely cruiser seats by comparison to what you need for a road like this when you're driving hard.
The best part about this car is the turbo and this shifter right here. This has the underpinnings, it has the soul of transmissions that we've driven that are the greatest hits, like the S2000, some of the MX-5s we've driven. This is approaching that. It's notchy and solid and feels expensive.
This is quick, genuinely quick. I mean, the 0 to 60 isn't lightning. It does it in about 6 seconds, but once you get solidly above 4,000 RPMs, you can really feel this engine pull. This is a stock car, which means it's putting down just under 300 horsepower and about the same in torque. And this car weighs about 3,600 pounds. This is not a lightweight, and yet it's got a good amount of power for this vehicle.
It drives kind of 80s, and by that, I don't mean it's a bad thing. I mean that it's just not as frantic and just so crazy. It feels so solid and sorted and well thought out.
Now, like a Golf R, for example, this is a front-wheel drive biased all-wheel drive system, so it isn't all-wheel all the time. It will run 100% front. It can send as much as 50% to the rear as it feels slip. This one's calibrated really well. There's clutch packs that close depending upon what you need. And when you really put your foot in it, you can feel a surge of power at the rear.
What's great about this car is that it feels very solid. It's a bad thing too because it doesn't feel really super light on its feet. It doesn't dance. The sweet spot for this car is not the canyon carving. It just isn't.
It feels a bit more comfortable on these kind of high-speed sweepers than like a full 180 hairpin.
See, right here, you start to turn in. I want more nimbleness.
Getting on the power does help you correct that. I mean, it is set up in such a way that that rear-wheel drive kicks in a little and tries to solve the inherent understeer of the chassis.
I am amazed that the car feels so fresh and crisp. I'm very surprised. I mean, this is a 10-year-old car at this point.
A little bit of understeer there. I like it when you put your foot in it. You can hear that turbo whistle, and you can also feel power shift to the rear and kind of tuck the car around in the corner. I'm catching motorcyclists.
I kind of got the idea that MazdaSpeed6 was something just really hot, like an STI or something like that. It isn't, but it's a start. There is a voice here. There is some character. Just, I thought there was going to be something overwhelming coming out of this thing that I didn't really feel. That's okay. For the price and what you can find these for nowadays, it's not a bad option.
I'm actually really pleased to say that the Speed 6 hasn't let me down. You know, when you hear about a car and you get kind of excited about it based on just what you understand about it, it's pretty easy to get in that car and it not live up to what you hope for. You know, if you think about the stuff this competes with, I mean, we're talking about the Audi A4 of this same generation. We're talking about maybe an X-Drive 3 Series or a Subaru Legacy. Honestly, I'd take this over all of those.